which I think a lot of people who read on the web are familiar with. To what extent do you feel and this is, your blog is unusual in that it's all written by you, and there is a comment section where other people can respond, and sometimes a dialogue happens. But you don't, for instance, on your blog, point people in the direction of other blogs. Your blog isn't designed as a kind of a node in a network to all the other blogs, and yet, nevertheless, you are part of that community. And I'm interested in what your thoughts are about the online community, and to what extent it's meaningful for you as a writer of criticism.
Basically, when I kind of started it, it was more like I was kind of making a special effort to have to go from DC to New York and watch these films. So to me, it's more like a cataloging of what I watch. So what the outgrowth is of that was, yeah, to just kind of catalog what I could of these films and then just kind of open it up. So that is, yeah, that is something where whether or not it had a comment section, I think, you provide an email or some other way, so it doesn't have to be in that particular forum. It could be on other websites that these discussions could be happening. But certainly, in terms of the online discussion or the just community, that is the appeal of it, is to be able to just kind of, how do I say this? Kind of put something out there, and the audience kind of finds you instead of, you're writing for an audience, because that's not what I do.
You don't write for an audience?
Not really, no. I do in a sense, but like I said, what I kind of do is really just capture everything of what I see, because what I do is I come here pretty much on long weekends, watch like 4 films a day for 3 days, come back and then just kind of make sure I capture everything before I forget it. So 10 years from now, I still have this kind of memory of the impact of what I went through.
So in a sense, your website is an archive, a sort of a memory archive.
It is. But certainly, it's also, I leave it out there so that, when people kind of do stumble into it, then it's there for them. I don't profess to be the end-all or be-all of these films. A lot of it is, there's some information there so that if you're interested in this person's work, here's at least some information, see if you maybe, that will kind of inspire you to see the film, and then by all means, it opens it up to other people writing their own stuff about films.
It does make me think of, it brings me back to something that Jessica just said about when she decides what films are going to be in her column. It's kind of there's a dimension of curating.
Yes.
And your site seems to be a very curated site. You have very specific tastes, very specific interests in serious art cinema. You don't write about Pineapple Express on your website.
Well, yeah, it's not that, yeah. A lot of that is, I know people will cover those, and that's not really what interests me. Because what actually interests me is, a lot of these films, like, like Nicholas Coates's Nicholas Stewart is like one of my favorite films that I've seen recently.
Could you speak up? What was the film?
God bless you.
But I know something like that where, even here, I think we only had like 2 screenings in New York for it.
What was the film?
Love Bless You.
Yeah, it's called The Wound. Yeah, this translation. But something like that. I'd rather kind of spend my time writing about that, where I know that, because of distribution, you don't see that as often. I'm kind of here to, like, I guess, like, fill the little holes where they exist. And yeah, it's not, yeah, my interest is not to be the most popular web writer out there. It really is, hear my thoughts on it. And I come from some background that is not in the arts, and just, not exactly layman either, but, you know, somewhere in the middle.
Okay, you go, David, and then after that, everyone could just kind of chime in, you know, just start talking.
At the same time? Or?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't really plan to do this, but I'm really kind of doing what I do, which is basically collating and aggregating. This is the way it worked out. This starts and you just go backwards with Pasquale Acquarello. I just want to emphasize how extremely valuable that site is. You say you're not popular, but if you Google a certain filmmaker's name, you may not be a household word. The results will come up immediately.
Outer.
Sorry. Okay, we'll do that. And that also what you're doing as well is very much what the word blog is. That is a log. You know, that's where it's about. You know, you're logging your experience and all that, and you're finding impressions of films that absolutely no one else has written about online yet. We all know that, you know, the films that you have seen. There's been something written about somewhere, perhaps on your mimeograph notes 20 years ago. You are the first. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
You're often the only online review of, I don't know, I would guess, several of the films that you see. I wanted to Jessica about the idea of geography. In a sense, that's something that the internet can do very essentially, is that this blogosphere is the way that people who do live in these outlying places, you know, that they do find each other, and you had a comment about there's a lot of reviewing going on. I would say too that a lot of the activity in the blogosphere as well has to do with archiving and
I meant in the papers.
oh, okay, sorry. All right, okay, sorry. But there is a culture out there that all right, good. Your D-War example, that was over here, that was The Dark Knight. Basically, that was oh.
Just go like this, right there. Okay.
What you were describing is something that was a very similar event happened here in America with The Dark Knight. And this is something that it's a community that is almost like an organized army that has given a lot of film bloggers a bad name. Sometimes you call them fanboys. And I think that we're coming around to a point now where we're able to distinguish between, in other words, those who blog in the film world, there are becoming so many, you know, that we're able to distinguish between various camps and all that. We recognize them. I want to also respond to something that Emmanuel said about, I also agree with Emmanuel about the fact that since there is so much upheaval going on, since we don't really know exactly at the moment what a magazine is, and we don't know what the role of the critics are and all of that, I agree with the idea that it's very possible for critics to become advocates of the film culture by taking an active part in distribution as well. And it's something that I think has a precedent first off in European journalism as well, to tie into a little bit what Jonathan was saying about the evolution of journalism as a whole, that the European press has always, individual papers have always been aligned with certain ideologies and points of view. They don't hold so tightly to this idea of objectivity that the American press does, and I think that this is something that we may all find ourselves exploring. We have, for example, the examples of critics turning into distribution outlets like Benton Films at the moment. So to echo what Jonathan said, it's a crisis across the board. So I think we'll see a rise of all sorts of interesting models, and yeah, we're